Are you planning to bring your newborn on a trip? Or maybe kids who are just slightly older? Then this video is for you. In this video, we'll be covering international travel, traveling with a car, carrying your newborn on a trip, and you know what? Just wait for it. No, there's a few others too. Maybe we'll change your mind at the end of the video. You'll see. Traveling overseas. Have you ever been on a plane with a baby and the non-stop crying just makes your head explode? Well, that could be you. When traveling on a plane, make 100% sure that your newborn is comfortable. Some solutions are: buy your baby their own seat. This is not just for them but for you as well, especially if you're traveling alone without your partner with you. Having a baby in your lap for how many hours that you're flying is quite a pain. To avoid that, you can buy your baby their own seat. Sure, it will be a little bit more expensive, but you'll thank us later. However, this is not the greatest problem here. The main reason why most babies cry on a plane is that the baby's ears aren't fully developed yet. They can't pop it like adults or older kids. The air pressure will make them really uncomfortable, which results in crying. An easy quick fix to that can be simply giving them a distraction. Giving them a taste of their own toy or getting them stuck on a pacifier would be a great idea. If none of them work, then you can start considering protection products. Dressing accordingly is also important, especially when you're crossing borders. The difference in temperature can cause big problem for a newborn or any small child, since their immune system isn't strong enough yet. They may get sick easily, which we will be talking more about in section 4. Driving. The most basic knowledge about driving with a newborn is probably food. It is important to know that driving or eating in a car for a baby can cause some choking hazard. Feed them before you start your car would be a great idea. Of course, it would be a better idea if they eat in the house beforehand. It is pretty common for people not wanting to see their kids throw up in the car. Having breaks in the middle of long drives is also important. You can stop and let your small child have a walk, or maybe to get some food. Get some fresh air before continuing your journey. A good idea when doing long-distance drive with a newborn is when they are sleeping. Excluding all the little incidents or distractions that may happen. Also, make sure to check all the necessities. It will be a real pain if you forgot anything. Just think about the possibility of non-stop crying if you have forgotten your newborn's favorite toy. Just 1% of the possibility is scary enough for a sleepless night. Different babies have different preference. Some can go 5 hours drying without shedding a tear, or some may be scared of cars. Trying different options is a great way to know, and start with something small like going to a nearby grocery store. Great way for them to meet new people and see what they like at the same time. Carrying. How you carry your baby should always be the first thing to think about when going on a trip. Are you bringing your stroller? Or maybe you have a sling? Or maybe you're feeling extra brave and decide to hold them until you get back home. Or maybe you're extra lucky and they already know how to walk. Best case scenario, am I right? If you're bringing a stroller, then how are you getting it there? Does it fit in your car? Can you get it in a plane? All of these are questions to make sure you consider, because one wrong move can cause you big trouble. Traveling isn't rocket science, you just need to be prepared. Think of alternative solutions that can be applied. Or even if something big happened, you can still back it off. Sanitation. The most basic question that people generally ask is that, what's going to happen if a baby gets sick during a trip? How do you give a bath? Or what about some water safety? But the answer is, ask yourself, do I know the answer to these questions? Where is the closest pharmacy? Maybe the hotel provide these. Are you waiting until the end of the trip to give your baby a bath? Or you have a plan in your mind and decide to use the sink. Hey, it works if it's clean. Or maybe you're just visiting a relative, so they have materials to help you give your newborn a shower. And what about water safety? How are you going to keep your child supervised when you're at a beach or by a pool? Are there life jackets by the body of water that you're visiting? These are all some great questions to ask yourself when planning this trip. Might as well use the time while you can. After giving birth, you're gonna be way busier than ever. What to expect? Okay, after learning about how to plan this epic trip with your newborn baby and bring them around to see the world, as well as relax with your partner after those stressful times, now you're ready to learn some cold hard truth. Sure, this is the exact opposite of what was written in the thumbnail, but did you look close enough? Not yet. Closer. Okay, you can have 3 seconds to freak out now. 3, 2, 1. Let's get started. What to expect? Traveling with a baby is not always sunshine and rainbow. The hard times exist, well, most of the time, but you need to make sure not to stress, as nervousness usually makes it easier to mess things up. So now you can stress about making sure not to stress. Great help, aren't I? When traveling with a baby, your dream of light travel is gone. Instead of 1 luggage, you get... Unless you're an absolute pro at this, it's hard to minimize your luggage when first started. Think about what will be provided in your destination, or buy something there would both be a good idea. But then you get to do money research. What if they have a different currency, which is usually the case? Another groundbreaking fact is that once you bring your baby on a trip, or just any small child, or children for those of you with multiples, the romance is completely gone. Like the speed of a rocket ship. You might be imagining a romantic dinner with a partner while your kids are maybe off playing on a beach far, far away from you, but the reality will be more like this. Now you might be thinking, what if I don't want to travel with my kids anymore? What should I do? Well, let's get into the next chapter. Alternative solutions. This chapter is definitely going to be a joy. However, for those of you who are considering this solution, then this is for you. The first thing to think about when leaving your children behind for a trip is, where are they staying? Are they old enough to stay home on their own? And for those of you with a newborn, don't even think about it. Do they have a relative to stay with? Or maybe a trusted neighbor? Maybe your parents who loves your kids will be willing to take them in. Think carefully before deciding where your child is staying. Next, food. You gotta remember to leave food behind. They are human beings after all, especially with home alones. You don't want to starve anyone. If this idea is making you really paranoid, ask them to call you a couple times a day. Sure, your trip might be distracted from time to time. Maybe they are fighting in the middle of a call, or maybe your newborn started to cry. But don't worry, they are in good hands after all. Just take your time and relax. But you know what? At the end of this, it's all going to be based on your personal opinion. Maybe traveling with your children or child is what you enjoy. The kids is super important after all. Now, if you're interested in Florida, then this video is going to show you all about where to go and how to have fun with your family, including your kids too.